Hello everyone, this is YourGibs and we're going to do the answer side of the Q&A video. This is in celebration of my 3 years on YouTube. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the game in the background. This is a free-to-play MMO. I guess you could think of it as similar to Team Fortress 2. It's kind of a class-based, action-y, in this case third-person view shooter game. There aren't a lot of maps, but what I enjoy about this game is the quick pace and the weapon crafting. I kind of like making all my fancy guns and all that kind of crazy stuff. So it'll be in the background. We've got a lot of time here, so if you're interested, just continue to watch. I actually show the different game styles, gameplay, maps, that kind of stuff as we go through this. So Loadout is the game. Check it out. I'll leave a link in the video's description. Okay, so let's begin with the questions. What I'm going to do here is going to run through all the questions. There must have been over 20 questions, which is fantastic. And I'd like to thank all of you that did take the time to submit your questions. I'm going to try to answer all of them, 99%. I'm not exactly sure. We do have about half an hour to get through them all. Hopefully that is enough time. And I'm not going to do them in any particular order. I'm not showing any favoritism or anything like that, but I do want to get to as many, if not all of them, as I possibly attempt to answer them all. Actually, I was kind of surprised that we didn't really have repeats, which was kind of cool. You guys definitely went out of your way to provide a bit of variety for me to answer. So let's get going. We're going to first of all look at the YouTube questions. I will point out right now that I'm going to try to say your names that you have, and I may make a mistake, and I'm sorry for that, but I'm going to try my best. Alright, so let's begin with the first question. This is from Zomo Bean, and it is, what is your favorite game that you've played so far? Wow, that truly is a difficult question for me to answer, and I have a couple answers. So I'll start off with my favorite casual adventure game. And right off the bat, that's Mystery Case Files Dire Grove. Now, that's really what got me into the hidden object puzzle adventure games. Fully into it, fully vested. That was the first game that I really felt there was a strong story. And from there, as you know, it's spawned into a labor of love of mine. As for outside of casual adventure games, I go through phases. I don't really have one particular game that's my all-time favorite super game. Borderlands was something that I played a lot of when it came out, and so I certainly do count that amongst my favorites. Resident Evil 5, another game that I played the crap out of that game too. So it just really depends on kind of what's new and exciting. So it's hard to answer that question. Just I can think of games in time that really caught my attention. The second part of that question was, what's your favorite genre of game? Whew, wow, that is another tricky question. So, I guess really the genres that you see on my channel, those are really my favorites. So the casual, the adventure genres, those are my favorites. The horror genre, I love those as well. Action genre, definitely that as well. I will play RTS games or strategy games, but maybe not necessarily my favorite. Certainly, you know, first-person shooters like Call of Duty, Battlefield, I'll play them, but definitely not my favorite. So hopefully that answers your questions. Okay, the next question is from Neo Nautilus. And the question is, if you now have the power to completely eliminate any one game from existence, what is it? Whew. I guess this is really basically asking what is my least favorite game of all time. And I have a handful, but I will say I'll call one out right here, right now. Alone in the Dark from 2008. I played this game on my Xbox 360, and this was during my achievement hunting phase. And I almost got 100,000 achievement points, by the way. And I played this one purely for the achievements and the glitchy car controls, the terrible combat. The story was just non-existent. Totally dreaded the entire experience, and quite frankly, I really wish that game did not exist. Second part of that question is, if I had the budget or staff to make it, what kind of game would you make? Huh, wow. That's another great question. I don't have a quick answer for that. I think I would need to have some serious thought around what that would be. I can definitely say that I have a couple thoughts, and one is that I'd like to do a casual adventure game with a bit more of a mature theme to it. Perhaps, you know, maybe not so much a horror theme, but certainly with mature themes in it. Certainly, like, you know, with grown-up struggles with, you know, vices, whether it's gambling or alcoholism or something like that. I'd really like to do a grown-up story in a casual adventure game. Do I have any pets? I have no pets. I did have a fish. I've had a dog. I've always wanted other pets, but at the moment I don't have any pets. Other hobbies. Oof. Well, my hobbies come and go. Typically my hobbies are sort of sporadic. I usually go in pretty hardcore and switch from one hobby to the next. YouTube for me was a hobby when I started, and I guess it still is a hobby. My favorite cake. Oh wow, so I do have a favorite cake. It's vanilla sparkles, which is basically like a vanilla flavor with kind of like candy sparkles in the middle. Okay, now I want one really, really well. Okay, so that hopefully answers your questions. Next question is from Roxy2316, and her question is, white or whole wheat bread slices for the YourGibs sandwich? So Roxy is a friend of mine from way back, and we have shot many zombies together in Left 4 Dead, Left 4 Dead 2, and YourGibs was some random thing that came up in one of our play sessions. But to answer your question, I would have to go with wheat bread. Her next question is, for live streams, would you have others joining in? Yeah, that would be a good idea. Definitely I'm going to be exploring the streaming content in the future, and certainly would love to have other folks join in. And if that's a hint, yes, you're more than welcome to join. Her next question is, how many friends have you made through your YouTube channel? Wow. I guess for me, friend is a broad statement. I think friend can apply to someone that is an acquaintance all the way to your bestie. And if I kind of apply it to the former definition of an acquaintance, I've met dozens and dozens of friends, if not, you know, 30 or 40 people that I would consider friends. So it has been a fantastic 3 years, and that kind of goes to your next question, is, have the 3 years gone by fast? Yes, they have! Incredibly fast. And the next question is from the Dutch MC Players, and the question there, it's kind of hidden in there, but I think they're asking if you'd like, if you like this game, would you maybe play BioShock Infinite? So I have started to do a little bit of an experiment with the BioShock Infinite DLC, and so far it's going pretty well. You guys are definitely responding well to that. If I will play more BioShock Infinite, or I guess more AAA mainstream games, that's perhaps the question here. It's hard to say. I really do want to stand out from your typical YouTuber that blasts all the kind of new releases on their channel and hopes for the best. It's kind of, to me, I consider that a shotgun approach to creating content, and I really would prefer to be a bit more niche than that. Having said that, I do play AAA mainstream games all the time. BioShock happens to be my, you know, one of my all-time favorite series of games. I love the entire series. So perhaps I will play that. Perhaps I'll play other action games like that. We'll have to wait and see. And the next question is from Elizabeth, and she says, have you ever thought about playing a game live on YouTube? So that was kind of related to Roxy's question around live streaming, and to answer that question, yes. In fact, I would have already did a quick little test live stream prior to recording the Q&A, and it went pretty well. I actually haven't live streamed on YouTube before. I have live streamed on twitch.tv, oh, I don't know, half a dozen to 10 times maybe. And it's something that I would like to do if I was able to schedule it on a regular basis, so that would give the highest probability for all you folks being able to sort of arrange and join, really. It certainly is an interesting way to share content. The interactivity is high, you know, with the commenting and having me kind of basically play the game live with all you guys. That it really is a very interesting thing to do, and I definitely plan on having a closer look at that in 2014. Okay, the next question is from Nexus427. Actually, it's a series of questions. Why you choose casual games? Huh. That is a good question. I do get asked that from, I guess you could say, some folks that were maybe subbed to me for some of my more hardcore games, whether it's STALKER or Amnesia, Alan Wake. You know, it's like definitely the more action-y games that I do play. People do ask me, why do I play casual games? To be honest, the reason why I really fell in love with casual games is I enjoy the characters, the stories, and the game mechanics that each of these developers have to come up with every single game. And yeah, there's actually a plethora of these casual games, and you might argue, oh my god, there's too many of them, they're no good. But I would argue the opposite. I would argue that there are so many of them, which allows the really good ones to stand up above the rest of them. And I have played some great casual games. I mentioned one earlier, Dire Grove, Mystery Case Files, definitely one of my all-time favorites. So it really has become a labor of love of mine, and I don't see that stopping. They are what I enjoy playing, and they are what I enjoy sharing with all of you. Next part of the question is, do you think you will have 5,000 subscribers in the past? So this is a pretty cool question. So when I first started on YouTube back 3 years ago, I had set goals, kind of monthly goals, you know, number of subscribers per month. And really I wanted to kind of target for my own personal development, my own personal learning, what does it take to grow a community? So I'll be quite frank with you, 1,000 subscribers was kind of where I thought I would reach the ultimate goal. So I certainly wasn't planning or had any sort of stretch goals around 5,000, that is for sure. I'm blessed, I'm shocked, I'm surprised, I am amazed at the following that I do have, and I am grateful. And I'm also humble, so I'm kind of all these things wrapped up into a little package. What is your name? So this is something that came up maybe last summer. So I don't usually share kind of too many personal details about myself because it's just, you know, it's that whole internet thing and that privacy thing. But I have shared my name before in the past, and it's Ken, so K-E-N. There are little nicknames that go along with that. I'm not going to tell you the one that my mother used to call me, so I'll keep that one off the books. But yes, my name is Ken. Next piece of the question is, why do you like recording with Wardfire, and how did you meet her? So this is a great question. To be honest with you, what I really enjoy about recording with Wardfire is her professionalism. Now, for those of you that have watched any of our collaborations together, we have a lot of fun, we giggle, we laugh. So there's certainly some fun to it. But to be quite frank, I could have that with many, many different people. But what truly makes it my life easier when I do record with her is her professionalism. I always know that there's going to be excellent audio quality. I know that she's going to be on time. And these are the little things that just make recording so much more pleasurable. So that is why I really love recording with Wardfire. Not to mention the fact that she just makes me giggle like a school child. And how did I meet her? Well, like anything on YouTube, it's really just more of a random act of search. And it's one of those things where I think either she commented on one of my videos or I commented on one of her videos, and it kind of grew from there. And really it was just a common desire or a common like of the casual games that sort of started it all off. And you know, it's who knows where that's going to go. I think there's more fun to be had there in the future. So the next question is from Hager Eid, and she's been around for quite a long time. She's been a little fan for a very long time. So, and her question is, what is your best and worst Nancy Drew series? So wow, that's a very good question. And at the time I'm recording this, I have finished 11 Nancy Drew games, which I actually had to go count because I lost track. Or maybe it's 10. Maybe it's 10. I can't even remember. So let's just say I've finished 10 Nancy Drew games at the time of recording. And I really think that my favorite, and this may sound a little corny, but my favorite was my first. In which case that would have been Ghost of Thornton Hall. And before you say, oh, Ken, that's corny, I just said Ken, because we just had my question about my name. Gibbs, Ken, whatever you want to call me, just, that's fine, Gibbs or Ken. So, why are you so corny by saying your first is your favorite? Well, to be frank, I had no clue about the Nancy Drew adventure games. And I had only heard about them kind of off the cuff. In fact, mostly in a more damning light. And you know, I've been obviously recording casual adventure games for at least 2 years before I played my first Nancy Drew game. And that first game, Ghosts of Thornton Hall, blew my mind. I was immediately hooked. And right after I finished Ghost of Thornton Hall, I went into Shadow of Water's Edge because I heard it was a spooky one. Loved it. And really it's just gone on and on and on from there. So sure, there are some of them that I like better than others. And I think if I was to kind of look back through the list here in front of me, the one that I kind of consider forgettable, which maybe a shame to say this, but the one that I really found forgettable up to this point is the Secrets Can Kill remastered. So I guess that's technically the first one. I played the remastered edition, but I just didn't find that story well polished. But you know, it's kind of hard to really judge the game when it really was the first in the entire series. But hey, if you ask the question, that would be my answer. So the next question is from Jack's Fear Wars. And the question is, are you going to be doing Steam giveaways soon? So I typically do Steam giveaways a couple times a year, and I don't have one planned soon. I don't really do this because I have to do it. I do it because I want to do it. And I have probably given away, and I mean, I've given away games to people that I know through YouTube, my friends, if you will. I've given away games to complete strangers. I'm not fussy about it. To me, I consider it a gift, I guess you could say. I'm actually quite happy to be able to share video games with people because I think it's important for people to have that opportunity. And I know that video games are not cheap, so if I'm able to afford to share more video games, then that's what I do like to do. So nothing in the near future for the Steam giveaways soon, but I like to also be surprised, or maybe surprise you all with that as well. So stay tuned for that. You never know. One could pop up very soon, or it could be months and months. I'll just keep it as a secret for now. So the next series of questions is from Simone, and she's asking a whole bunch of questions here. So one of the questions she says here is, what is the best kind of coffee you've ever had? Wow. I have to think about that one for a moment. And I struggle with this one because in a lot of cases, I kind of flip-flop between, I guess you could say, styles of coffee. So, and what I mean by that is, the flavored coffee certainly got my interest a while back, you know, whether it's the vanilla or the cocoa chocolate flavored or whatever, you know, like those kind of flavored coffees. Certainly, I find that those are definitely nice to have. As for kind of your traditional roast, your light roast, your medium roast, your dark roast, I went from dark roast to medium to light to medium to light to all over the place. If I was to say what would I like right now, I would say that I would like to go have a Starbucks light roast with vanilla sprinkles and milk. That would be my ideal coffee right now. Next question is my favorite color. That's a good question as well. I would say colors. I have favorite colors, and red is one of my favorite colors. Orange is another one, and navy blue. I don't really. I found that hard. I don't really have a favorite color. Certainly, my coffee cup logo right now. It was blue. At one point, it was kind of a silvery color. It's been red or for a little bit here and there. So I guess that would be the answer I would have to say. So red, orange, and blue. How did Nancy Drew come into your life? That's a very good question. I had mentioned earlier already that my first game I ever played was Ghost of Thornton Hall, and really it was a whim. I had a few people kind of poking at me going, you should try Nancy Drew, you should try Nancy Drew. And I hummed and hawed, and I watched a few videos and went, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's really the game for me. But on a whim, when Ghost of Thornton Hall was coming out, in 2013 in the spring there, I said, you know what, I'm going to buy it. So I bought it, played it, loved it, and I've been hooked ever since. What's one game you can play over and over again? To me, that's a simple answer. It's Plants vs. Zombies. Not the second one, not the Garden Warfare one that looks like Team Fortress 2 Plant version. The original Plants vs. Zombies. That is one game that I can play over and over again. What's one game you never played and always wanted to? You know, this might feel a little bit odd, but the one game that I've never played that I've always wanted to is World of Warcraft. That's right, I have never played World of Warcraft, but I have a reason for it. And the reason for that is I have a compulsive nature that the MMOs, the grind that comes with them, is not good for me, so I've purposely avoided games like World of Warcraft, but I've always wanted to play it. But I've had to be vigilant and not get myself trapped in that world. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying for me personally, it is not something I need to do, and really that just has to boil down to time. I'm the kind of guy that prefers to play a new game every week rather than playing one game every day. That's just who I am. So, thanks for the questions. Okay, next question is from PixarFan8080. What is your favorite type of music? Oh, whew, wow. To be honest with you, I don't really have a favorite type of music. I am one of those people that consumes all music. Whatever is on the radio I listen to, whether it's top 40, whether it's classic rock, whether it's electronic. I am the kind of person that will be a chameleon in a room. So whatever is the music of choice in the room, I will enjoy, whether it's classical music, whether it's R&B. So I don't really have a favorite type of music. What I will say is that there are certain musics that I do like to listen to based on certain conditions. So for example, if I am deep into work, which basically requires me to have mental, doing reports or spreadsheets or analysis or something like that, which requires some mental thought, I usually like to have some sort of noise. Usually it's like electronic dubstep or, something kind of, just something in the background that I don't even necessarily need to know what the lyrics are. Just sort of, I like to call it quiet noise, even though it's usually not quiet. So that's one condition where I would definitely pick out electronic music in particular. But for the rest of the time, it's whatever's kind of on the radio. Next question was, what was your original subscriber goal? So I mentioned that earlier. My original subscriber goal was 1,000. I never really imagined getting to 5,000. Certainly, I'm very grateful for where I am today, and I look forward to the next 5,000 because I think it's awesome. What do you want to see on your channel in the future? That's a good question. I don't have anything specific. What I would like to see in general is more variety. And I always struggle with that because I know that certain folks subscribe and they want one thing only. They want this style of game. Don't deviate from that. And I've really made an effort and to be transparent that my channel isn't about one particular genre of video games. Okay, it's not about Nancy Drew. It's not about casual adventure games. Now, they may be the majority of what I'm playing today, but there's plenty of other varieties of genres on my channel, whether it's action games, horror games. So I don't really have anything specific, but I will say that what I'd like to see on my channel is just continued variety. So DS Joyful asks a bunch of questions, so let's get right into it. What has been your greatest joy in running this channel? I only have a corny answer for this, and really it's the community. I am blessed and happy and shocked and grateful for the community that I do have. Now, when I first set out to do YouTube, I really had no idea what I was doing. I certainly did not expect 5,000 plus people to say, hey, I want to subscribe to this guy. I'm willing to click that button and commit myself to support him. So certainly the greatest joy for me is seeing that community grow, and really it'll continue to be my greatest joy to watch the community grow even further. What has been your greatest challenge in running the channel? I think consistent quality. It's not that my videos are bad, and certainly if you go back to the earlier ones, I would argue the audio is I definitely struggled early on with the audio, but every time I make a video, it's a challenge, and I always try to tweak this and adjust that to make my videos just a little bit better each time. And I always find that the greatest challenge is trying to make the videos just a little bit better. Next question is, what are your top 5 casual games? Wow, this is almost impossible for me to answer. I've played, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 of these games. I've already mentioned that Dire Grove is one of my all-time favorites, and mostly because of just it was kind of the first one that stuck in my mind as more of an adventure game and less about the hidden objects. I could just rhyme off a whole slew of them, like Campfire Legends, like Shiver, like Nightmares from the Deep, like Dark Parables, and I wouldn't really do myself justice because, quite frankly, there's just way too many for me to even be fair about it. Even Grim Tales, for example. It's just, there's so many wonderful casual games. I would have to really do some serious thinking, and I may even have to do a top 20 or something to really give a fair shake to all of them. What was the theme / storyline we'd like to see in a casual game? So I already mentioned this. I would like to see something with a little more mature themes to it. Something that kind of, more adult-like. And then, there's plenty of fantasy games. There's plenty of horror-based themes. There's plenty of kind of mysteries. But I'd like to see something a little bit more mature-like. Dealing with, vices and dealing with, maybe even like a, I don't know, just down and out kind of guy that's struggling to survive and try to, like, maybe he's had a bad rap in life and he's trying to, pick up the pieces or something. Like a Max Payne type theme. That's what I'd really like to see in a casual game. Thank you for the questions. Next question is from Introverted Wolf. If you could enter the world of one game, which would it be? This is actually very easy for me. I would want to enter Alice Madness Returns. For those of you that don't know about that game, it is a crazy world, reimagined, sort of Alice in Wonderland kind of fairy tale, if you will. And I just like the idea of having that, what was it, the salt shaker that you have as a gun or whatever? The salt, pepper grinder, I think it was. So if there was one world that I would love to enter, it would be Alice Madness Returns. The next question is from Bianca, and she asks, if I would start over, what would I have done differently? Huh, wow. I don't know if I would have done anything differently. I don't really have regrets. I certainly have made mistakes along the way. There's no doubt about that. And I have to live with those every day. But I don't necessarily have regrets. I think that life is about lessons, and it's more important to move forward and take those lessons into consideration and really do better in the future than to worry about the past too much. Certainly, I guess one thing, if I really had to put a finger on it, is I probably would have did a little bit better of a networking with other YouTubers. Yeah, certainly I have a small group of loyal YouTubers that I do mingle with and hang out with, and we have a great time, but I think I would have did a slightly different job of networking. And next question is from Sierra, and she wants to know, what's my name and what's my age? Well, I can answer the first question, which I already did. And my name is Ken. That's K-E-N, for those of you that are taking notes. You can call me Gibbs, you can call me Ken. Doesn't really matter. Gibby, Mr. Pickles, depending on who you are. It's, it is what it is. As for the question about age, I don't really get into that level of detail. I kind of consider that a bit of a personal question. And I don't necessarily know how that changes anything, to be honest with you. I think we all know that I'm a mature male. I've been around the block, so to speak. But whether it's, whatever the exact number of my age really matters, I don't personally think it does. But hey, that's me, and that's just what I think. Next question is, when is your birthday? My birthday is in October. I'm a Libra. I like long walks on the beach and romantic movies at night. Actually, I don't like romantic movies. Okay, maybe the odd rom-com, but it has to be really funny. More funny than romantic, I think, is the right way to put it. Yeah, my birthday is in October. It is the 8th of October. Next question is from Andrea, and it's, is it possible to show a picture of your gaming area? Yeah, that's something I've been wanting to do. I actually have been wanting to do a video of my gaming area. I haven't really had the opportunity, and quite frankly, my gaming area is kind of a mess. It's a functional mess, and it gets the job done, but it certainly isn't anything wow and wonderful, or anything to be extremely proud. But I don't know, I'll have to keep that in mind. I can't really promise anything, but I'll definitely think about that. And certainly it is a messy desk, and I do have notes all over the place. And I do always have a cup of coffee, which I'll take a drink of right now. Nathaniel wants to know, what's your favorite character so far in Nancy's YourGibs? So that's actually a really easy question for me. I would have to say that my favorite so far is Yumi from Shadow at Water's Edge. I really liked her carefree attitude. I liked her almost dry humor or dry sarcasm. I don't know exactly how I put my fingertips on it, but I just enjoyed her character. She was kind of full of life, but also serious and strong, and I really enjoy that type of a character. And I really think that if I was to kind of wrap that around, I really do like sort of Bess. I'd hate to say, you know, well, I don't like George. It's not that I don't like George, but I do like Bess as a companion to Nancy as well. She's probably my favorite companion for her. Annie wants to know, what was your first game that you've played? Wow. Huh. This is almost impossible for me to answer. We would have to go... I'm trying to think here, because computer-wise, like, what would be my first computer game? I can give you a little bit of history. I guess you could say that my first computer... well, let me see. So what have I had? I've had a Game Boy Color. I've had a computer. I had an Xbox, the original Xbox. I had the Xbox 360. And then eventually I had a PS3. I've also had a Wii. I mean, I have all these things. These are all in my house right now. Oh, I forgot a GameCube as well. So what I can say is that I guess if you go back in time, I kind of probably, I don't know, Super Mario Brothers or something. Probably at my buddy's house when we were really young. On the Super NES is probably my first. My first that I really remember is playing GoldenEye, which I can't remember what that was on. It might have been the Super NES as well. But playing that multiplayer GoldenEye, I definitely have that recollection. Going to play that at my buddy's house as well. So either Super Mario Brothers or GoldenEye, I would say, were my first video games I played that I can remember at least. And that's going to do it for all of the answers for your questions. Thank you all for submitting them. Hopefully you got a bit of a sneak peek behind the scenes of who I am and what I'm about. Of course, there is always more to learn. It's kind of like peeling the onion, isn't it? So I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'm YourGibs, and if you've made it this far into the Q&A video, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you next time.